We'll get started here in about 3 minutes. Thank you so much for being here today. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being with us today. We're going to get started here in about 2 minutes. Oh, wow, we have someone from San Francisco. I love San Francisco. Sun City, Gilbert, Georgia. Oh, I bet it's hot in Georgia. I think it's hotter than here right now. Mesa, Dallas, go Cowboys! Prescott, Goodyear. I love it. It's definitely hot. Hot and humid. Colorado Springs. Yay. Phoenix. Peoria, Phoenix. I love it. I love seeing where everyone is from. Santan. I think I've been to Santan. Tolleson. Orange County. Nice. I'm envious of California weather and Denver weather. Green Creek, Prescott. Hi, Laura. Laura Rice used to work at Aurora. We love her. She's an awesome counselor. Surprise. Scottsdale, Phoenix. Awesome. I'm going to give it about 30 more seconds and then I will get started. Just so everyone knows, I will be sending the CEU certificates out shortly after the presentation today. If I do not get them out today, they will be out tomorrow, as well as copies of the worksheets from the presentation today. There's going to be 3 different worksheets that, as Katie calls on me to do so, I will put those in the chat. So watch for that. If you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. I always say Q&A or chat. Obviously, you can use either one, whichever one is easiest. And then Katie loves the participation, which is awesome. So she will ask you sometimes to unmute yourself. If you aren't able to, I have a cool allowed to talk button, and so I will unmute you, just so you know. Awesome. So it's 12:04, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome. My name is Debbie Elder, and I am one of the community liaisons for Aurora Behavioral Hospitals. I have the majority of my team on here today, which is amazing. Katie Rasmussen, Val Purdy, and then Johnny Giglia, who I found out today is an actual official cowboy, and I'm so excited. So I'm going to turn it over to him to do our Aurora commercial.
Oh, wow, what an intro. So Johnny Giglia, one of the community liaisons here with Aurora. For those of you that don't know, we have 2 hospitals here in Arizona, Tempe and Glendale. We serve adults 18 and up. And then just recently, July 1st, we started taking 12-year-olds. So 12 to 17 is our adolescent age range. We have, it's a level 1 inpatient psychiatric hospital, outpatient services as well, ILP, PHP at both locations. We also have a specialized needs unit in Tempe, and we stabilize kiddos on the autistic spectrum. That age range is 8 to 17. We offer chaplain services. We offer ECT as well, amazing adjunctive therapy, equine therapy, dog therapy, art, music, yoga. We got it all. And then we're in network with every commercial, every access plan, Medicare, Medicaid. And then we're also having an open house for our outpatient facility in Glendale coming up in October, I believe. Is that correct? So we would love to have everybody there and check out our facility there and all of our services that we provide. Um, that's a wrap.
That was amazing. I'm glad I have that recorded. I'm going to use that going forward. Thank you, Johnny. I just love it when we can, when you can hear from other members of our team. We are always available to show you around, bring information to you. So please reach out. If you have never been to one of our hospitals, we would love to show you. A lot of times it's kind of daunting to think about, but they're actually really, really great healing spaces. So without further ado, I am going to introduce our speaker today. Katie Tiffany is a licensed professional counselor in Mesa, Arizona, originally from Portland, Oregon, and she spent 16 years in the teaching field. She holds an MA in education. Oh, my thing went away. There we go. Sorry. An MS in administration and supervision and an MS in counseling. She now specializes in PTSD and trauma and uses EMDR and parts work. She and her team provide both in-person and telehealth options. She also offers group therapy for people with PTSD both in person and online. She offers a writing circle for sexual assault survivors and offers an online self-study course in burnout prevention that is eligible for 3 ethics CEs. She loves parts work as it provides more flexibility and fun into her sessions, and she loves sharing it with other professionals. She actually did a parts work presentation for us last August, so who knows, maybe this will be an annual thing. It was one of my very favorites. So Katie, I'm going to go ahead and disappear and turn it over to you.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm going to try to share my screen here. And I'm going to go ahead and have you all please go ahead and write in the chat. Let's see. There we go. If you guys can write in the chat, let's see if it's coming up here. There we go. Just kind of who your clientele is, maybe something interesting about you. Have you done any parts work already with your clients, or have you done your own parts work maybe in your own healing journey? And then did you attend last year, the part 1? So it's a lot to kind of do in the chat, but if you could just chat so I can get an idea of who is here today, that would be awesome. I'm just reading everybody here. Okay, good. So it's kind of a mix of people who attended last year and did not attend, some people who've never done parts. So if you have not done part 1, it's fine. You're not going to miss anything. And we will do a little review as well as to what it is. So you guys are all in the right place. I see a lot of adolescent kid stuff too, which is awesome. Okay, cool. Okay, and then like Deb said too, this is more of an interactive session, so I might call on you and she'll unmute you to share out. It's just more fun when it's interactive that way. Okay, cool. So keep writing. I'll keep going back and forth and reading as we go, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So this is going to be in the chat. Deb, if you can go ahead and upload this to the chat. Go ahead and just check out these little figures that you see here in the tree. And what I would like for you to do is just type in the chat like 1 or 2 of those figures that you identify with right now.
And Katie, really quickly, are you sharing your screen yet?
I should be. I don't know if they can see it or
Uh-oh.
not.
No,
Can you
it's
see
not
it?
coming on. That's why I was curious.
Oh, really? Okay.
Um,
Let's try this.
Now I can see it.
Now you can see it? Okay, so
Says-
there we go.
It
Let's
says,
try that.
yay, there we go. Perfect.
Okay. So now I'll try to get back and see where I can find you all. Hi, Winter. I recognize you. You've been to the parts work. A lot of butterflies and holding on to the trees. Okay, Deb, can you find Brandon? Can you unmute Brandon?
Okay, Brandon, can you talk?
Hi, can you hear me? Good morning.
Hi, Brandon. Can you share with us why you said holding on to the tree?
Sure. So I'm a clinic director, and I literally just had an employee at the start of this come in and tell me that she's putting in her resignation. So these are, these types of roles we just are very unexpected to not know on a day-to-day basis what we're really going to come into work, and not only with the clients that we serve, but also the employees and managing them as well. So right now, definitely hugging the tree for some support.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. I appreciate you
Thank you.
sharing. Yeah,
And
thank
okay, I can see the mute button. Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Brandon. Okay, awesome. Okay. What about Gerardo? Can we unmute him? He says, I'm sitting down facing the sky.
Gerardo, can you talk?
Hello, how
Yay.
are you? So I actually chose two of them. The one that was laying down, face down, and then the one also sitting down and facing the sky. So I'm sure we all are feel overworked and stressed out. So that's why I'm kind of feeling kind of beat down sometimes. But every morning I try to make some time for myself before I start my day. Just going into the backyard, sit down, have a cup of coffee, enjoy the morning, and kind of look at the sky and kind of get myself ready for the day. That's why I chose those two.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I totally relate. I always choose the one that's looking away, trying to get like quiet all the nonsense that's happening behind me. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So if any of you work with clients that are experiencing dissociation at times, they might choose this little guy that's staring out there. So it's definitely a conversation starter. It can definitely open up and introduce clients to parts work here. So you guys have that in the chat. And if not, I think Deb can send it to you after as well. So, all right. So that was just kind of our little warm up. Okay. Just want to make sure that I'm still sharing the screen. Can you guys see it now? It's the table.
Yep.
Okay,
It's all
perfect.
good. Thank you.
Okay, good. I'm working with two screens. Okay. So what's the difference? So there's a couple of different terms flying around sometimes in the parts work world. There's ego states, parts work, IFS. It's so the ego state is how you think and feel and behave and respond. So your ego state can be your childlike state, your adult state, your stressed out state. That's the ego state, your teenage state. Um, and then the parts work is the intervention that goes with each state. So we're going to look at that today of how to use parts work to work with some of those ego states. So, you know, Brandon's ego state right now, he's, you know, kind of stressed out and, you know, in survival mode and trying to figure all of these things out. So what we would do is bring some parts work in to resource that part of him and probably bring up a more grounded, adult, successful, right, type of ego state to help him get through that situation. And so you guys are all really resourced, but for clients, they operate a lot from a childlike, you know, child ego state, maybe teenage ego state type of thing. So what the parts work does is it really helps our clients resource more kind of successful adult parts to work with those other states. So here's some examples on here. And then if you are familiar with IFS, just go ahead and write in the chat if you've been IFS trained or if you know, if you're familiar with IFS. It's a big one. Yeah. Yep. So a lot of the stuff is, yeah, very familiar, and IFS is so great. I just started listening to Richard Schwartz's book, No Bad Parts. If anybody's read No Bad Parts, it's really good. It's amazing. And if you get the audio, Dr. Richard Schwartz actually will come on, you'll hear his voice and he'll do the meditations. But the IFS is just a little bit different, but what his goal is to do is to get the whole family inside of your body working together. That's why it's called internal family systems. So parts work is just a little bit different, but they also flow in and out of each other. So there's just some basic definitions there for you guys. Oh, good, Stacy, you liked that book. Okay, fantastic. I just started it. It's great. If anyone wants to put the link to that book in the chat, that would be awesome. Or if Deb, if you can put the link, it's called No Bad Parts. It's a good one. All right, so let's go into silencing the alarm. Hopefully this video will show. All right, so I saw what a lot of you guys do. I saw a lot of trauma. I saw emergency room. I saw lots of stuff. So when we're working with clients, kids, adults, anybody that's going to come to you into your office and talk about their trauma, they're going to be stressed out. They're going to be their nervous system is going to be all over the place, right? So in Robin Shapiro's training, she does a lot of grounding and kind of calming the vagus nerve, and she does different activities for that. So we're going to do silencing the alarm. And if you can, and if you have space to do it, I'd love for you to actually do it with him as he demonstrates it so that you can actually feel in your body and see if there is a certain reaction that your body might have to this technique. And then you could try it with your clients. All right, so hopefully this will work.
Have you ever experienced anxiety, stress, feeling nervous, anxious, maybe heart starts racing, sweating? If you have, then this might be something for you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to learn a coping skill. I picked this up recently at a workshop that I was at with Robin Shapiro. It's a nice, easy coping strategy. So let's give it a shot. It's real easy. I'm going to start. You just take your right hand and place it over your left eyebrow. And then you're going to make a sweeping motion behind the left ear, down the neck, over the shoulder, down over the elbow, and then out through the backside of the hand and the fingers. And you would do that any number of times, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to, do it however many times you want on the left side. And then you're going to switch and you're going to do it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You go fast. You should play around with the speed. Find what feels good, feels right to you. Not every single one of these skills will work for everyone, but it's certainly worth trying things out and seeing if you can put another tool into your toolkit to help you in times of stress or anxiety. So that one is called silencing the alarm. Give it a shot.
Okay, let's go ahead and has anyone done this with their clients first of all? Has anyone, because I know some of you have been in my other parts work training and you may have tried it or done it before. No, okay. All right, let's do a couple. All right, so let's ground ourselves if you feel comfortable to do that, and just go ahead and let's start with the right side and we'll sweep over. And we'll just go ahead and go all the way down the arm, and let's do just 2 on that side. Then go ahead and switch to the other side. And then we can get crazy and go to the middle and we can cross. If you want to try that and go down this way. You can try that again. So then just take a moment and notice your body. And then just type in the chat how you feel. Yeah, and then Carrie, good. You added a breathing to it. That's awesome. Esther, there is not a handout on that, no. But if you Google silencing the alarm vagus nerve, you'll find a lot of stuff on it. You'll find a ton of vagus nerve stuff online. It's really anything that you can find for calming clients before they come in. And like he said, it's not going to work for everybody, and it will probably take a few times to get comfortable doing that. But if you can do that, it really helps. And also to just, as it seems to be moving this shift into a lot of, somatics and body work for trauma. Robin is a lot about brushing. So especially with sexual assault survivors and physical abuse survivors, she will have them brush off any like hands that they might feel on their body. She'll have them like brush their whole entire bodies just to like get the stuff off of them. So that's not parts work, but it's an addition. You can add that to your practice.
Have you ever experienced anxiety?
All right. Yes, we have, Shane. Okay, so I'm going to go into a card pull. So these cards, you can find them online. I put the website here. And these are actually cards that say parts work on them. So you can use these to help your clients get in touch with different parts of self. So I'm going to pull a card and I want you to type in the chat what emotion might come up, what it elicits for you. Oh, good, Desiree, you have these cards. Awesome. You can use them in so many ways too. It comes with a little printout too of different ways that you can use them. Okay. Hope you guys can see this. It's a woman in a wheelchair hooked up to IV. So what does this elicit in you? Is this a certain part of you? Yeah, good. Oh, Janet, I want to hear from you, Janet. Deb, can you unmute Janet?
Go ahead, Janet.
Here I am.
Hi, Janet.
Hi.
You said dependence. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, with all the medical, tubes and things hooked up, she's dependent on the medicine or on the help she's getting. It's sort of sad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least as much as I could see the card.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely hard to see. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so you could see that this could bring up a certain emotion in a client that might be feeling dependent on others, right? Might be, you know, wanting to work
Yeah.
through, a sickness of some sort, right?
Right, lack of vitality. that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Yes, and Delilah's adding codependence for sure from addiction. Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, lots of ways that these could bring up conversations for people, right? Grief. Good. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go back to those cards, but that's another intervention that you can use for parts, okay? Okay, so we're gonna go into a reading here, and Deb is gonna share this with you in the chat as well. This is the ego state exercise. And so I'm just gonna read it to you, and I'll have you, close your eyes if you feel comfortable with that. And if you don't, that's fine too. Just keep your eyes open and just try to center. And again, this is all from Robin Shapiro's book. Okay. So if you are new to ego state therapy, welcome to a powerful and flexible therapy. I want you to go inside and notice as you sit deeply into your chair that you are an adult. And as an adult, you have boundaries. You have professional and other skills. You have a very broad perspective. Think of yourself acting competently with your clients, able to pay your bills, voting, and behaving as an adult in your relationships. And now go deeper. And as that competent adult, find that small child inside of you. And notice how that child holds your curiosity, your need to elicit love and approval. And for many of you, because you chose this profession, the need to take care of those around you. When you found that little one inside, look at it and feel its gaze coming back to you. And let yourself know if this little one inside deserves to be taken care of, fed, protected, allowed normal sleep, loved, kept around loving people, and everything else a human needs. Will you commit to taking care of this child in you? And will you, as an adult, keep this child back from situations in which you need to act like an adult? Good. Now, I want you to imagine walking through a normal day, attending to adult things, while taking care of and protecting this child. Make sure this child is fed, hydrated, well slept, and entertained. And make sure that your adult self keeps this child out of situations that call for adult behavior. Walk through letting your adult decide what your boundaries will be with your work, your families, and the needs of all others. And when you are ready, hug that child inside and feel that young heart beating inside your heart and those little lungs breathing with you. And come back now fully to the room and to this presentation. Okay. So if you have any reactions to that, you can put it in the chat, but we just did a lot of things in that one activity there, okay? So one of the things that we did was we changed your state. So if you were here and you were participating and your eyes were open and you were present, and then we go inside and we close our eyes, we're already changing our state, okay? And when we're doing trauma work with people, we want them to be able to go in and out of states. Okay. We also accessed to the adult functional part of you, and we talked about the role of the adult. All right. So what's the role of the adult, right? We talked about that. We also access the child state and normalize the child functions to eat, to sleep, to get water, right? This is what our child needs, right? To be cared for, to be loved. Yes, Sydney, thank you. Yes, adding joy, right? Okay. And then what we did was we actually connected the two states. So how did they connect with each other? What was the adult's job, right? With the child there. We put the adult state in charge, right? And we got its agreement that it was our responsibility to take care of the child and to keep the child out of scary situations, that the child doesn't need to be there. Okay. We also reminded you all about some boundaries as an adult that might need to be set with work and things like that. Okay. And then at the very end, we integrated that younger part back inside and came back to the present as an adult and back to the presentation, right? Now here we are as adults at a presentation for our work, right? So that's just one little script that you can use for yourself too, to remember these things, and also with your clients. You can change the wording a little bit there for your clients as it feels appropriate. Okay, any comments about that script? Sydney, that's a good question. I saw that a lot of you guys do work with children. I would say yes, mostly for adults, but with your older, maybe your, 15 to 18-year-olds, I would say that 17-year-olds, I say that it could be good. Especially for those kids who have had to be an adult for a long time, that it could work. I've never used this with children, but I think that it could work if you tweak it a little bit and you know your client well. I think that you could definitely use it with them in some way. It would just look a little bit different. All right, cool. All righty. So I'm going to have you all start to get in touch with some of your own parts that you identify with. Okay, so we did this in part 1, but I know some of you didn't attend part 1, so this is great. It's a perfect step. So you're going to write down on a piece of paper. I'm going to set the timer for 2 minutes. This is the teacher in me. This is my teacher part coming out when I'm like, to set the timer for 2 minutes. I'm going to write down your parts. Now, all of you will have like a therapist part or a healthcare professional part, right? That's very big in us because we're here. You'll probably have a parent part, maybe a sibling part, a spouse part. Just go for it. There's some examples down at the bottom too. Don't think too hard about it. You're doing it right. Okay, for the perfectionists in the room, you are doing it right. Okay, just don't overthink it. Then the middle is going to be kind of like, when does this part show up? Right? How do you notice this part coming up? Where does it show up for you in your life? And then the last one is that helpful? Does it help you? How does it serve you? Type of thing. So just have fun with it. We're just reflecting, and then we'll share in about 2 minutes. If you have any questions about that, go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay. So let's just go ahead and start by just put some of your parts in the chat, because what happens is that as people start to share, you'll go, oh yeah, that one too. Oh yeah, that one too. And so then you can add as well to your list of parts. So if y'all could just start sharing in the chat, that would be awesome. And then I'm going to, we'll probably call on some people. Yes. People pleaser for sure. I know a lot of us have a people pleaser in there for sure. Yes, caregiver, yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Good job, guys. Thank you for everyone that's putting stuff in the chat. I'm reading. Alicia was the oldest child. Yeah, the oldest girl. Mm-hmm. Melanie, thank you. Melanie, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for kind of like almost volunteering. Deb, can you unmute Melanie? Oh, she said
Lewis or Tausig.
Tessig, I think that's how you
Alright.
pronounce it. Yeah.
Melanie, you should be able to talk.
Oh, she said it's hard to talk, but she would be happy to expand in the chat. Melanie,
Oh,
can you
cool. Okay.
talk her? Yeah. Okay, she can expand in the chat. Okay, that's fine. Okay, what about Angel? I missed the last name. Deb, can you find Angel by any chance? I missed the last name. She said
Hughes, there's two, so I'm making you both allowed to talk, because it might be somebody who's on a computer and a phone.
okay, perfect. Angel, you said unseen hero.
Hi.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
yeah. I'm Hi. I'm sorry. I was in the same room with someone on the training, so I didn't want it to have feedback.
Better.
But unseen hero in that often, like a program like mine, we have admission, placement, criteria and things of that nature, and that often gets fudged and shifted around, and we have to keep accommodating and changing. And so instead of being like, oh, great, you're flexible, we get dinged on the things that are changing around our program. So sometimes I feel like the bigger agencies that we may contract out to, we're working so hard, we're sweating blood and tears, but they have no idea. And as soon as something doesn't look exactly right, you're just dinged for it instead of seeing for any of what you've been able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough part to take on. How could you, okay, so if you were a client, if you had a client that had that situation, is there a certain part that you could bring in to kind of help soothe that part that's the unseen hero?
Oh, someone just said advocate, and honestly, I'm in my own personal journey right now, working on, I am a strong advocate for my clients often, but for myself, I don't necessarily feel like I have the right, but I'm working on building that, because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So how can I be doing that?
Yes.
But I'm in therapy, so no one worry.
Yes. Yes, that's where you start. Good. I'm proud of you. Good. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yep. So building up your inner advocate for yourself. That's such good work. Good job. Yep, very good. All right, awesome. Okay, what about Savannah Morin? She said the middleman. Can we hear from Savannah?
You should be good, Savannah.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, middleman, where do I start? I think in my family, I kind of integrated this with kind of being the mental health advocate. I put advocate in there earlier. Since I am known for having maybe more empathy or an ability to understand both sides, I feel like in a lot of components, I become the middleman, the person that is the, how do I explain it? Kind of like the mediator, whether that is in friendship, concerns, whether that is in family situations, and then even in some workplaces, just to piggyback off of the advocate, when I am a representation of, I'm Navajo, and then I'm also African American. And so being an advocate in some workspaces and a middleman to understand, how to increase inclusivity and how to create a, safe work environment for all employees. So I've found myself being in that role. Again, it shows up in all spaces of my life. And I do think it is helpful, but sometimes it doesn't always feel congruent with, sorry, my dogs are, they're like, yep, we agree. But it sometimes doesn't always feel congruent with, it serving me and my role because one, maybe I don't always, the unspoken hero, I think I don't feel as though that is valued or appreciated as much versus just taken for granted.
Yeah.
I know that was a big spiel, but yeah.
No, it's awesome. And that's why we're here. And people are giving you a lot of notes in the chat as well. So I think, you're bringing up a lot of stuff in other people as well. And one of the things with, with all of this work is what we're truly looking at when we're identifying these parts is like, what's the function, right? What's the function of this part? How does it serve me? How has it served me? Right. And so if you, grew up where you were kind of the peacemaker because you didn't want drama in your house, right? And you tried to kind of be the negotiator, the peacemaker in your home, it served as a survival skill, right? In your home. And I don't know if that's your story. It could be, it is that, does that
Yeah, I
resonate?
mean, I think I was the youngest. And so I think maybe in a way being able to see, my brothers and sisters to my mom, who my mom and dad divorced at a young age as well. And so I think that naturally fell on, in a way of, oh, I can see everyone struggle, right? Or I can see, having that almost like childlike, maybe just wanting to see the best in everyone and, not trying to always put it under they're doing this on purpose or being evil in any capacity, right? So I totally resonate with, yeah, that component of it becoming a survival skill that I believe, yes, has been helpful, but sometimes, again, especially in those workspaces, can feel like, man, why does it always have to be me, right? Or, why does it always fall on, me to be that advocate, me to, you know, do this role once again, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And a lot of time for sure, I get that. And a lot of times, yeah, a lot of times when we're working with our parts with our clients too, it's first kind of understanding the function, right? Where does it come from? What's the function originally? And then Sonia's saying that it gets rewarded later on. So yeah, it becomes reinforced, right? As we continue to
Yes.
so
Survivor to thriver. Yeah, I like that.
yeah. Yeah. So, when we're looking at some of these things as we're working with clients, we're asking, what's the function? And then we're asking, does it still serve you? And how does it still serve you? Because I imagine in a lot of our roles, I mean, people have a lot in common. They're saying peacemaker, negotiator, middleman, all these words are kind of, we're drawn to this profession for a reason. We are good at what we do. Y'all are good at what you do. You showed up here today, so you have stock in what you do. You want to be good at what you do. So there are great qualities to this part. When is it okay to let it sit down and take a break? That's what we want to work with our clients and with ourselves is, can this take a bath, take a break? right? Can
Right.
my child step forward and go to the park and play in the grass? Right? Can I go, I don't know, do something fun for the day without worrying about, work or kids or taking care of someone today? That's what we're trying to do, is pull in other parts to resource these things. So does that make sense to everyone? Does that help? Yes, Nicole, take a break. All right. Good job, you guys. Any other comments, or is there anyone that would like to share any realizations that came from that? Can you see yourself using this with clients? Clients love this. Yeah, they love this. And with kids would love this too, for sure. I think teenagers would love this. You can get as creative as you want. They can draw pictures, and you can get a big poster board. Yes, how does it serve you? Good question. Yeah, how did this part serve you then, and how does it serve you now? Right? Those are some good questions to ask as well. Yes, you guys get into it. This is why I love parts work, because it's so flexible and fun, and you can go anywhere you want with it. You can give them names, right? Some people have really fun naming their parts as well. So, okay. Good job, y'all. Good job. I'm gonna go to the next slide. I think we have another activity here. Okay. And thank you all so much to the ones that are participating and sharing out loud. I appreciate you guys. And I'm reading the notes right here. Yeah. All right. So Deb, this is going to be our Loving Eyes activity. So if you want to upload the Loving Eyes, thank you. Yeah, Janet, good question. What if you did not have this part? And what if this part were here all the time? Or what if you were this part all the time? Yeah, those are great questions to ask. Yeah. Okay, so just depending on where you're at during your day, if you have to go see clients after this, or if you are tapped out emotionally, just listen. And, you don't need to go through this whole activity, but I'm going to model it for you. This is Loving Eyes, and this would be for an adult who has some childhood trauma, some childhood pains that they are still working through, okay? This is Jim Knipe's Loving Eyes protocol, and I guarantee you will have movement with clients if you do this. Every single time I've done this with a client, there has been movement, there has been realizations, there has been tears. Yes, Savannah, it's great with EMDR therapy. You can add bilateral with it as well. Is there anyone that has done Jim Knipe's Loving Eyes that they know of, that they've already done this script with clients? Okay, if you have, I'm just curious if anyone has done it that they could say, yes, it really worked, Katie. It's really awesome. Okay. So what a lot of times when clients come, they already know why they're there. You already know why they're there. But for the sake of this activity, if you'd like to participate, choose something that was an experience for you as a child, not too high on the SUD scale for the sake of today. So maybe like a 5, just kind of in the middle there. Could be some bullying, conflicts at home, a parent scolded you, a teacher may have embarrassed you, maybe an uncomfortable situation at school, couldn't read out loud, stutter, undiagnosed ADHD. You peed on the chair, maybe you got your period on the chair. You talked too much, you got sent out in the hall. That happened to me all the time. Maybe you had addiction issues at home, abuse, discrimination. If you feel comfortable, you can write that in the chat. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to just center and write down a situation that you're going to keep in your mind as we go through the activity. So I'll be quiet. Okay, thank you so much, Janice, for sharing. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, if you feel comfortable enough to just write down in the chat. Thank you, Alicia, Miriam, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Good. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Feel free to keep writing in the chat. I'm going to go into the activity now, okay? All right. So I am going to have you close your eyes if you would like, or you can keep your eyes open and just steady your gaze. And I want you to bring up that incident, that time, and I want you to imagine yourself as a child in that space. And just really observe the child in this space that is you. And just kind of notice how you're feeling about that child. And that child has now noticed you. Just see how that child feels about you being there. See if you want to go sit down next to the child. See if that child wants to hear anything from you. Ask that child if it would like to leave. Is there anywhere else that this child would like to go? Maybe you take the child to a park, maybe to go put their feet in the water somewhere, maybe go get ice cream. Just ask if the child would like to go somewhere with you to get it out of the situation that the child is in. Maybe the child needs to see what your life is like now, and you want to give the child a tour of your home, introduce the child to your kids, maybe. Maybe you have a special stuffed animal to give to the child, or a pet that the child would like to play with. Kind of notice, and maybe as you sit with this child, you can tell the child something that it needs to hear to heal. Be curious and compassionate. And just recognize, does the child want to stay with you? Does the child want to go back to where you found the child? Ask the child and ask yourself where you would like to leave the child? Kind of make sure that that child is in a place where it feels authentic to you. And then say goodbye however you want to. You may not be in a situation where you could give the child a hug or give the child a pat on the back, or I'm not sure. So just kind of notice how you want to leave the child. And when you're ready, you can come back and feel free to write in the chat some observations about that activity. Thank you all for sharing there. Yeah. Thank you, Judith, for that. Yeah. Thank you, Susan. Yeah, Desiree, that is powerful. Telling her it would be okay. Good. Okay, Deb, can you unmute Sydney Moore if they'd like to share?
You should be good to go, Sydney.
Mute. Can you hear me? Can
Well, we can hear you, but it's echoing.
yeah. Oh, 1 second.
Good. You guys can keep sharing in the chat. It's awesome. I love reading what you all are saying. Oh, Janet, the mean girls faded.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, Sydney, we can.
Okay. What would you like me to share?
What was that like for you? I see you said unifying here.
Yeah, I put 2 in there.
Yeah, connecting adult knowledge with the child part. Yeah, talk to me about that.
Kind of, I guess, like a lot of empathy and understanding. Like, I didn't know then what I know now. And so, like, going back and talking to that child part with like the adult knowledge that I had gave a lot of like empathy and grace and understanding, and really helped to kind of like unify the adult part and the child part, where maybe sometimes choices made when I was younger, the judge part of me wants to judge it and maybe holds a little bit of shame, but like the adult part going back and talking to the child part really helped to like unify it and give grace.
Good. I love that. Thank you. So did the child believe you? Did the child believe your knowledge? She did. Okay. Sometimes with our clients, you will get a lot of resistance with this activity because the adult is not as resourced as some of us are. And so the child doesn't believe them. Right? So Sydney, you're telling your child it's okay we have knowledge now, I got you, and your child's going, and you know what? I believe you. Right? I believe you. I can go with you. I can trust that you're going to take care of me, right?
Mhm.
But for our clients, they don't believe it, right? Because they don't trust them. Sometimes our clients, they don't really trust themselves yet, right? So this is an interesting kind of assessment, right? You can use this as an assessment, and the goal is not to get the child and the adult working together. The goal is really just to kind of see where they're at and just to notice, was it uncomfortable? Did you trust the adult? Right? And I'll get clients saying, no, my child won't go with me. They don't want to come with me. They don't like my life now. Right? I've had clients say, I'm embarrassed to show my child my home. I don't want them to see what my life is like now. I feel like I've failed them. Right? So there's this clash here. So it's you can use this more of like an assessment to see what the relationship is like between the adult and the child right now. Let's see. Thank you so much, Sydney. I appreciate you.
Yeah, of course. And I wanted to share too, after you said that, like my experience just now is that my childlike, I guess, person in my vision was really excited to see like my current self and was like happy that I was there and felt, I guess, mutually like proud. And so kind of the opposite of what you just described.
I love that. I love that for you and your child. Yay. They're working together. That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. I love it. Thank you.
Turn her off.
All right, Deb, can you find Bonnie?
Bonnie, you should be good.
Hi, Bonnie, can you hear us?
Let's see. I show she's unmuted. Nope, muted, unmuted. You're unmuted, Bonnie.
That's okay. Maybe she went away for a minute. What about Miriam? We'll do Miriam.
You should be good, Miriam.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can. Well, it depends. Who is it, Miriam or Bonnie?
It's Miriam.
Okay, cool. Yeah, do you want to tell us about your experience?
Sure. It was interesting because my child enjoyed coming with me, leaving the uncomfortable situation and going with me. But when I brought her to see my current life, there is some similar conflict in my current life, and that made her a little bit uncomfortable. So she wanted to go be with a pet. And so then I took her to be with a pet, and then she wanted a hug and wanted to go to her grandmother. So that sort of surprised me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and all of the, thank you so much for sharing that. It's a beautiful example of how you can help the other people on the webinar hear different examples of what that interaction can be like, right? Like, oh, this isn't settled yet, right? Your inner child is saying this isn't settled yet, right? But I would love to feel comfortable with a pet right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like that feels safe to me right now. So yeah, just a beautiful example. And also just remembering too that we're just being curious. We're not really trying to fix anything or shift anything at this point. We're just really curious about this relationship and what's coming up here. So thank you. I appreciate you sharing.
Sure.
Good. And Bonnie says she's here and trying to share, but we can't hear her. Okay, we'll do one more. Let's do let's do Desiree.
You're good to go, Desiree.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That was a really powerful exercise. I noticed a lot of protectiveness that I felt over my child. She was curious about me and wanted to come with me, and it was just really beautiful and interesting when you had us, maybe communicate with our child about our life now to, kind of show her everything's okay, I'm okay, we can go through hard things and still, still be resilient.
Mhm. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Awesome.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Any questions? The script that Deb put is a little bit different than this particular script, but it doesn't have to be, spot on. And as you do it and a couple of times with clients, you'll feel your own way through it. Just for fun, was there anyone that was like, I'm not going there right now. I cannot do this activity. I got clients to see. I can't do this thing right now. This is really kind of like emotional for me. I'm not ready to touch this thing. I won't call on you, but if you could just say, yes, that's me in the chat. I think it's good because we also know that sometimes our clients don't want to do these things, right? They show up, they have things to do after they come to session. Sometimes they're not able to access these things either. So is there anyone that would be brave enough to say I wasn't feeling it? Sonia says, ain't got time for that. My client named theirs. Yes. Josh is on vacation. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. And that's fair. It's totally fine. These are really like good observations too. Francisca says, do you have strategies for clients who have, I can't pronounce that, but inability to visualize? I do not off the top of my head. That is a great question. I've heard about that. Avoiding, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, good. So just good to know. All right, let's move on. We got one more. All right, let's do another card pull. Let's see what we got. Can you guys see it? Okay, it's a soldier with a machine gun. Bringing up anything for you? Could this be a part of yours? Janice says this is scary. Okay. Protector. Uh-huh. Deb says how I want to react to everyone all the time. Family trauma. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, good. Yeah. Um, yeah, so interesting how it's bringing up different, like for some people it's empowering and for some people it's bringing up anxiety and fear. Yeah. Yeah. La lucha. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. All right. Okay. So again, just conversation starters with clients with the cards. Okay, this will be our last intervention for today. Okay, and this is our two-hand interweaver, two-hand technique. So you can use this if you do an EMDR and you have the buzzies. You can put the buzzies on and they'll go back and forth bilaterally. But if not, it's just as effective if you just have your clients put their palms out. And this is a beautiful activity for anyone who's contemplating two big decisions. Okay, divorce, stay married. This job, that job. If your client struggles with some OCD stuff, anxiety, this fear versus maybe what reality is. Having a difficult conversation versus not having it. Stay in this house or move. Like there's so many things that you can do with this. And sometimes our clients will just, they've talked it out so many times and they're not coming to a conclusion, right? They're just talking about it, and they're not getting anywhere. So this kind of helps them kind of come into that state where they can be quiet and let the kind of the bilateral flow move through them and see what happens. Irene, yes, I think the slides should come to you as well. There's a question there. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is a good one too. I want to make sure I mention this one for childhood abuse or sexual abuse, where let's say that it is a family member or, you know, something like that. So there can be this conflict of like really like loving this person because they're family, but then hating this person as well for what they've done. So if you've worked with any clients where they're like very conflicted about how they feel about their abuser, they love them, but they hate them, you can put those feelings in each hand, the love for the abuser and the hate for the abuser, and you can watch them go back and forth and see what that's like. So that's something you could write down for any clients like that. Substance, great for substance. This is what it would feel like to use. This is what it would feel like to be sober, right? And then going back and forth with those two. All right, so let's go ahead and just take a second. I'll be quiet. And maybe you've got something going on in your life right now that's gonna have these two possibilities. So just take a moment, think about it. All right, and you're gonna just put that one thing in one hand, the other in the other hand. Just take a moment to do that. And then just go back and forth with the two ideas. Okay, and then just take a breath and just notice your two hands. And notice if one is heavier than the other. Maybe it's tingly, hot. Just take a moment to notice any physical reactions. And go ahead and just type any observations in the chat about this activity. Good. I'm just reading. Yeah. Oh yeah, Desiree, that's good. Susan, I'm sorry, I probably didn't describe it correctly, but you just have each of your palms open like this. And then when I said go back and forth, I think it's just my mind. I'm like, just kind of go back and forth with your brain. Like, this is this hand, this is this hand, this is this decision, and just kind of observe what's happening in each hand as you go back and forth between the two decisions. Oh, Linda, that's a good point there. Can we unmute Linda Fisk?
You're good, Linda. Oh, you might have to unmute on your end though. Oh, she doesn't have a microphone. Okay.
Okay. Well, she says that both hands were the same weight, the same temperature, the same elevation, hence the indecision. And it makes total sense, right? It makes total sense that this is why things are so difficult. But there's some other things coming up here. Mary says the lighter one was the safer option and the heavier one held more risk. So that's interesting to talk about. Desiree, I actually think you're unmuted. Do you want to share what you said about the EMDR here and how you use it with EMDR?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, in working with clients, and preparing for the processing part of EMDR, have them visualize like you were prompting us to. They've identified some negative beliefs or thoughts as we're kind of trying to get down to the core of some of these thoughts, the onion layers. I'll have them visualize, holding some of the beliefs that they've identified, one in each hand. So I am not enough, or I am unlovable, and I'll have them, close their eyes and visualize each of those, but notice the difference. Does one have more weight or have more frequency or more energy? And I'll find that often they can connect and identify in doing that. Not always, but often they'll connect with this exercise that way.
Yeah. That's great. I love that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. And Gerardo, you're still on here. Do you want to unmute yourself and say what you meant? You said I tend to stay longer with one idea. Can you talk about that?
It had to, it had to do with a job decision. So I'm not sure who was on the line, so I'd rather not elaborate too much.
Oh,
But yeah,
that's
so
fine.
it was just kind of going back on decision in regards to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And so
But
I had to do one thing versus doing another.
mm-hmm. But you noticed that with one of those decisions, like you stayed longer.
Yeah, because I think that's the decision I need to take, or a
Interesting.
step that I need to do. I was like, yeah, I should really do that.
Okay, that's interesting. Right, like your mind kind of like wants to pull to the other, but it's like going this way, right? It's like
Yeah,
taking longer over here.
yeah. I was flip flopping on the hands. I was like putting one hand in the other and then switching it to the other side.
Okay, interesting. Like this, kind of like that, going back and forth like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, just yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I love that. Thank you. That's cool. Good. All right. Does anyone else want to share about that experience? Okay, cool. All right, so I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. We'll do one more card. Let's see, I'll try to find something that's more joyous for you all to end with, okay? so that, we can leave on a good note. But as I know that as therapists, though, we could probably make it stressful if we wanted to. All right, hold on. Trying to find something that is kind of like lighthearted. Apparently there aren't that many in here. Okay, here we go. That's like all of you. What do you guys get from this one? It's difficult, sorry. Yeah. Cool. So like even if you're doing EMDR bilateral and they're feeling good, you can have them like tap that in. Right? That feeling. Okay, awesome. Can you guys see yourself using some of the stuff from today with clients? I hope so. Yay, good. Yay, yay, yay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, and then when Deb sends you the slides, there's some anger stuff too. So you guys can do some anger activities with your clients as well. But all right, I think that's it. Deb, do you need to finish it up here?
Oh my goodness. Feel like I need a counselor. Where can I find one? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
This was really cool. I said this is my favorite presentation, I think, is this style that just identifies like my brain and identifies with it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I am going to just put up a quick little review here. If you would like to leave a review for Aurora, we would love that. Sonia. Oh, that's awesome. Sonia says email me. That's cool. That's awesome. But yeah, I think this was very, very interesting. I'm not a clinician, so I tried to practice and do the little things. Lots of parts there. My brain is definitely a fun place, but I so appreciate you being here. And thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for sharing so many resources. I will send the CEU certificates, the copy of the slides, a copy of the worksheets, just in case you weren't able to open them up. I did try to share in the chat a few different things you talked about that I could find. I could not find that specific YouTube link for that stress management guy, the vase.
Okay.
I forgot what that was called. But if you want to email me that, I'll include that as well. Obviously you all, know where to reach Katie if you have questions or need counseling. I think it's cool that everybody participated so much, and I love all the back and forth and everyone being willing to share and willing to be vulnerable in even a virtual room of your cohorts and colleagues. That's not easy to do often, and I appreciate everyone to just taking the time out of your day to just be still for a minute, do some fun stuff, do some deep stuff, maybe, take a few minutes of silence after this and just focus on whatever you needed to maybe have a little more work on. But we always appreciate our speakers. We appreciate all of you for attending. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this. And again, please reach out if you would like to see Aurora, you need any information. Also, please reach out. Oh, excuse me, my allergies are terrible. Also, please reach out if you would like to be a presenter. We are always looking for great presenters to share information, and these type of presentations where you guys can get a little bit of, I don't know, a little help for yourselves, as well as just information and resources that you can use in your practice. I think it's wonderful.
Debbie, real quick, Nicole Delgado has her hand raised.
Nicole, did you have something to share? Or were you like Zoom high-fiving? Lots of people Zoom high-fiving. Is that it? High-fiving, or are you? I don't know. I don't really know what the hand raise is. So, Nicole, please feel free to reach out to me if there was something that I could do for you and you weren't virtually high-fiving. So, I'm not very good with that part. But awesome. Yep, CEUs will be emailed out to everyone. Hopefully here shortly. At least that is my plan. So great. Well, I am going to go ahead then and say goodbye. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your week, you and your parts. And I hope we can make this like an annual thing with Katie, because this is fascinating to me. So
Thanks, everyone.
thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.
Bye.